To the Irish community in Seattle, St. Patrick's Day is much more than just shamrocks and leprechauns and green beer. With Irish Week, we really focus on our rich culture that we have and the strong connection between Ireland and Seattle.
Irish Week is actually a month-long celebration of St. Patrick's Day in Seattle. We have a lot of activities going on and it's a lot of fun. There have been Irish in Seattle since Seattle was founded. I mean, even the Denny's left Ireland in the 1790s. So it was their descendants were the first non-native settlers here. First graduate from the University of Washington, her name was Clara McCarthy. In 1871, there was a mayor of Seattle who was born in Ireland, and thousands of Irish did come here because of the Klondike Gold Rush. The Seattle Post-Intelligencer in 1899 had a big cartoon about the Irish celebrating St. Patrick's Day in Seattle. So there have been Irish here from the very beginning.
The Irish community in Seattle has been somewhat underground when you compare it to cities like Boston, New York, Chicago. Being distanced from the home country, they had to find their own community and form bonds here in Seattle. And then we also saw populations moving over from Northern Ireland to escape the Troubles. That growth, or that group of people, formed the bonds of what created Irish Heritage Club, a parade, and an Irish Week celebration.
We start on Friday with a Mass for Peace. That Mass was originated because of all the conflict in Northern Ireland back in the 70s. We've had priests and different clergy that have come over from the north and the south over the years. And we always had a combination of the Protestants and the Catholics coming together. Back in those days, that was something that was almost unheard of.
When it started in 1982, the Mass for Peace was a Catholic Mass in a Protestant church. It was at Plymouth Congregational Church, downtown Seattle. They were wonderful hosts for so many years. In later years, we started having the Mass at St. Patrick's Church.
Take this, all of you, and eat of it.
This year we had Father Bill Tracy, who has been in Seattle since 1945, celebrate the Mass, and he was also the homilist. Father Bill will be 100 years old on May 31st, but he's in better shape than I am in a lot of ways. So we had the bagpipes at the beginning, and then we also had the harpers. Then we had a choir with some of the hymns in Gaelic. We've had masses on St. Patrick's Day going back many years because that's how you celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. After the Mass, then we went down to the Irish Week Proclamation Luncheon. Every year, the Mayor of Seattle, the King County Executive, and the Governor of Washington all issue proclamations of Irish Week, and the Mayor herself showed up to read her proclamation.
Whereas our Irish community has made major contributions to the history, development, and culture and economic life of the city of Seattle, now therefore I, Jenny Durkin, Mayor of Seattle, do hereby proclaim March 10th through the 17th to be Irish Week.
The It was a lot of fun, and we had some of the past Grand Marshals were there. Tim Egan, the journalist with the New York Times, and we had St. Patrick himself there in his regalia. Tom Keefe does a great job portraying St. Patrick and adds to the fun of the occasion. He was a former deputy mayor of Seattle, and he was on the trip that went to Ireland in 1982 to select a sister city.
We chose Galway as a sister city after we had a group of 6 of us, took a tour of Ireland and visited all the port cities to get a sister city for Seattle. And we ended up on the west coast of Ireland, the city of Galway, which seemed to be close to Seattle, west coast, a university town, beautiful countryside, and the west is so cool in Ireland. And the mayor, Bridie O'Flaherty, God bless her, she was so welcoming. So we invited Bridie over for the next Irish Week in Seattle, and we knocked the socks off her. She and Mayor Charlie Royer were doing an Irish jig, and that kind of cemented our sister city deal. And so every year we invite the mayor of Galway to come to Seattle for Irish Week. And we've had about 30 of them, 30 mayors.
We're very fortunate that nearly every year the Mayor of Galway comes to Seattle and leads the events of Irish Week. This year, Mayor McNillis and his wife and children came to Seattle for the very first time, and it was fantastic to be able to show the mayor our gorgeous city.
Well, Friday afternoon, we worked with the South Lake Union Community Council to recreate the landing of St. Patrick. St. Patrick is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland. We're not sure exactly where he was born, but probably in Wales. That's the most likely place. He was captured by Irish pirates, brought to Ireland, worked as a slave for herding sheep. Then he finally escaped to France, became a priest and a bishop, and then decided that he wanted to go back to Christianize the Irish. So he arrived back in Ireland in the year 432, and it said that he visited every county in Ireland, and by the time he died, Ireland was mostly a Christian nation. So he's very important to the Irish, and what we do is we bring St. Patrick and the Mayor of Galway and whatever other dignitaries we have, we bring them out on a kind of a cruise around Lake Union, and then bring them back to where they're greeted by the seafarer pirates and welcome back to the Emerald Isle.
Welcome everybody, it's Irish Week in Seattle, get excited! I would like to welcome to Seattle the Lord Mayor of Galway, Neil McNillis. And here, he's 1,500 years old, and the pickle jar is almost empty. It's St. Patrick.
After the landing at South Lake Union, then the seafarer pirates put St. Patrick up on their Moby Duck. And they bring him all the way down to Pioneer Square to get ready for painting a green stripe on 4th Avenue to mark the route of St. Patrick's Day Parade. At 7 p.m. we start. We have bagpipers and flag bearers and so on, and we use a paint striper to actually paint the green stripe all the way from Jefferson Street down to Pine Street on 4th Avenue. It originated with John Doyle Bishop, who had a women's clothing store on 5th Avenue back in the 60s.
He was a very eccentric designer and shopkeeper. So he would go out on St. Patrick's Day and he'd come into our place and he'd do an Irish jig on the bar top. And everybody would go, wow! So he would go out late at night and paint a green stripe down 5th Avenue and would hope that he would get arrested for the publicity.
The green stripe that we do every year, we call it the John Doyle Bishop Memorial Green Stripe. If the Mayor of Galway is there, we'll have him be the official starter. But then all the way along, we let kids push it for a block or so. We just try to have everybody take turns at it.
All right, I think we're here. Do I stop?
And once we get to Westlake Park, we do a little bit of dancing and sing a few songs or whatever.
Let's have one last cheer for the Seafair Pirates. And don't forget, we'll see you all tomorrow down at Fort St. James at the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
In North America, celebration of St. Patrick's Day dates back to Revolutionary times. George Washington gave his troops a day off on St. Patrick's Day because so many of them were Irish. The oldest St. Patrick's Day parade in the world is in North America, not in Ireland.
Actually, my parents started the first St. Patrick's Day parade in Seattle in 1970 with Mary and Frank Shreon after having some drinks at one of the Irish pubs, and decided to start their own parade. And it started off with just a bunch of cars and a bunch of them having a little bit too many cocktails and some Irish coffees driving up 4th Avenue.
So the parade officially started here in 1972. It was basically a response to what was happening in Northern Ireland. People here wanted to organise a kind of a protest march, but they were convinced that maybe instead of making it a protest march, make it more of a positive thing. So they got a permit from the city, but the permit was for a religious procession. So that was the first parade, 1972, and it's gotten bigger every year. The participants for the parade start gathering at probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock down at 4th Avenue and Jefferson and City Hall Park. At 12:20, we play the Irish and US national anthems. Bruce Kosaki is a fellow who plays the Irish national anthem every year on the trumpet. He's been doing it now for 15, 20 years. And this year we had a contingent from the US Navy play the US national anthem. Did a fantastic job.
For 2019, Nicole Rousseff was our honorary Grand Marshal, and Nicole has been participating with us in the parade since about 2014, when she actually went down with her mother to a second-hand store, bought herself a nice green velvet dress, and she has been marching in the parade ever since. This was the first year that we actually asked her to be part of our honor guard, and it was our first lady that actually has Down syndrome, which was a very big honor for us.
The dignitaries, the Grand Marshal, the Honourable Grand Marshal, the Mayor of Galway, Senator Maria Cantwell was there, and they blow the official whistles at the start of the parade. The Seafair Pirates shoot their cannon off, and that's the official start of the parade. The pipe bands obviously are everybody's favourite. Everybody likes the pipe bands. We had the Firefighters Pipe Band, we had the Keith Highlanders, the Northwest Junior Pipe Band. We also had a pipe band down from Canada.
The Pipe and Drums from the Seattle Police was established in January of 2011 following the line of duty death of Seattle police officer Timothy Brenton.
The Seattle Police Pipes and Drums, they're one of my favourites because they have a very Irish ethos. They always march with a contingent of officers marching behind them, and One of them this year was the current police chief, Carmen Best. They're a fun group and they add an awful lot to the parade every year. Dancers are very important. I mean, if it wasn't for Irish dancing and Irish music, an awful lot of people would have lost connections with their Irish heritage. There are about a dozen different Irish dancing schools in the Seattle area, and several of them participate in the parade every year.
We're proud to have the Irish Wolfhounds participating in nearly every Seattle St. Patrick's Day parade for over the last 48 years.
I think the first parade I ever attended here in Seattle, I remember there was an Irish Wolfhound in it. We have several different breeds of Irish dogs in the parade because there are organizations that they love the Kerry Blue Terrier, they love the Irish Wolfhound. It's great to have them.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from the Irish Setter Club of Seattle. The Irish Setter has been termed by artists to be one of the most beautiful of all dogs. Now hopefully the Wolfhounds didn't hear that.
Let's give a warm welcome to the Whittier Wildcats Unicycle Arts Group. There's over 140 or so Wildcat unicycles. They perform in St. Patrick's Parade annually, and I'm mesmerized by their talent and their dexterity. So thank you, O'Day students, for carrying the banner of Connacht.
Ireland has 4 provinces, Leinster, Ulster, Munster and Connacht. So each one of them has their own banner. So we encourage people to march behind the banner of choice or the banner where they representing the province where their ancestors were born. Some of the other groups, we have a Samoan group. We had a group of Native Americans from the Duwamish tribe. And I think it's great to have different nationalities sharing our day, if you will. We just want a variety in the parade. We want to have a little bit of everything. By mixing things up, I think it makes it for a more interesting parade.
So the parade has been going strong for over 40 years now. I believe it's the largest St. Patrick's Day parade west of the Mississippi still to this day. My dad actually ran the parade for 25 years before me. So I'm the second generation to carry it on, and now I'm training up my daughters to help take it over from me.
We'll see you all over at the Seattle Center.
The parade usually ends about 1:30, and for the next hour you can ride the monorail for free over to the Seattle Center, where the Irish Festival has been started at noon with a lot of activities, from noon until 6 p.m. on Saturday, from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Sunday. Sunday was the St. Patrick's Day Dash, and the Dash has been going for 35 years now. That started as a kind of a training race for Regina Joyce, who was a student at the University of Washington at the time and ran for Ireland in the Olympics in 1984. The St. Patrick's Day Dash was intended to be a kind of a training race for her. Maybe you might get a couple of hundred people show up kind of thing. Well, 1,500 showed up the first year, and I think within 7 or 8 years there was 15,000 runners.
Making their way up to the platform here, the inimitable Mick McHugh, the godfather of the Dash, along with Minister of the Government of Ireland, Sir Cannon, and the Mayor of Galway, Neil McNillis. Take it away, Mick. Thank you. 35 years. Thank you so much for coming back for 36 here. Nice to have everybody.
Mick McHugh was there. Mick has been a starter from the day one. He's never missed a year. And the Mayor of Galway ran in the race, which is a first. Then all the years that have been coming, he's the first Mayor of Galway that actually ran in the race. The race used to run from Jake O'Shaughnessy's on Queen Anne along the viaduct to FX McRory's down beside the King Dome. Well, Jake's is closed, the Vexus is closed, the Kingdom has gone down, and now the Viaduct is closed. So it's a lot of changes in 35 years. But the Dash is still going strong, probably 6,000-7,000 runners this year. When the runners cross the finish line, they can go to the beer garden if that's what they're inclined to do. There's a stage here with music to kind of keep them happy, keep them around, and hopefully get them into the festival. That's Seattle Center. We have been doing this festival for at least 25 years. This year we had a good crowd and so many wonderful activities going on. So a lot of Irish music, singing and dancing, obviously that's the main deal. But we also had exhibits on, an Irish photography exhibit. Rosarie Lynch is an Irish-born photographer who lives here in Seattle, and she's some lovely works up. We had a history exhibit about Irish revolutionary Eamon de Valera, who visited Seattle 100 years ago in 1919. We had a Lego artist who designed a fantastic image of Eamon de Valera just made out of Lego bricks. We had activities for the children. We had cooking demos going on, teaching Irish cooking, how to make Irish soda bread, how to make colcannon, and so on. We had wonderful Irish films being shown that had never been shown in Seattle before. And then we have workshops on genealogy and Irish history, and learning how to play the tin whistle or the flute and so on. And then the vendors, obviously, there were 19 different booths. The Irish Heritage Club has a booth at the festival giving out mostly information, but you can buy your raffle tickets, Irish Seattle book. The Seattle Gales have a booth giving out information about playing Gaelic football, hurling and camogie for men and women. We have a genealogy booth who provides information about your Irish genealogy. Carbony is a booth that sells bagpipes and tin whistles and flutes and so on that are made from carbon fibre. Marjorie Dwiggins has some absolutely gorgeous Celtic designs done on leather in different colours and so on.
Good.
Wandering Angus, all kinds of Celtic jewellery and Celtic CDs and so on. There are a lot of different vendors like that.
This year our stage presentation had several live music groups. And then, of course, all the dance schools have their time in the sun, being able to present their program, showing their kids, and obviously a lot of appreciative parents come. Irish dance, of course, has gone on as in any culture for centuries, and the technique or the styles have changed with time. And Irish step dancing has become very competitive. The caliber of dancing in Seattle is very good. We have numerous schools that actually send dancers to the World Championships. And then some of the dance schools also don't compete, but they actually form more of a choreography sort of performance where the dance teacher has created patterns, maybe even non-traditional music, but still follows an Irish beat. There's a place for that also. And then there's always been the Ceilidh dancing, which is what you'd call group dancing at a party, and they're pattern dances, and it'd be much like the American equivalent of square dancing or contra dancing. The beauty of Irish music is that children seem to pick up the rhythm on it without any knowledge of dance. And oftentimes you'll see 2-, 3-, 4-year-olds just get up impulsively and start dancing in front of the stage to the music. There's something about the Irish rhythms that become so infectious for young people that just want to bounce around and they can feel that beat. And we love seeing that, and of course, We always look at that as in 3 more years, we got lessons for you. I think it's the luck of the Irish to have something that has been as popular as St. Patrick's Day. It's just been an attractive thing for people to be Irish, think Irish, or just celebrate with their Irish friends. We try and embrace the best part of St. Patrick's celebration and put in a good dose of culture and history along with the fun.
Well, everybody loves a party, and everybody has a little Irish in them. It's just something that the Irish have around the world. I mean, how many ethnicities celebrate a day around the world with everybody? And that's what's really special about the 17th of March.
I really feel that the Seattleites who participate in the Irish events can enjoy our Irish culture and really feel a part of our community, whether they're Irish, Irish American, or Friends of Ireland.
Irish Week is all organised by volunteers, mostly with the Irish Heritage Club. I think the city benefits from our involvement, and I think we do a better job of celebrating St. Patrick's Day than a lot of other cities. And I kind of feel I'm in that lucky place. I'm an American, I'm also an Irish, and I'm very proud of both, and I'm very attached to both.
It's always nice to be Irish on St. Patrick's Day, but you don't have to be from Ireland, so everybody comes out and has a good time. I think the heart of Ireland and the people themselves are very giving people, and they're actually accepting of all, and I believe that's the case here in Seattle. It's neat to see that Seattle's such a diverse city, and I believe that the people really like the Irish St. Patrick's Day celebrations, and I hope this continues on forever.